Welcome to the Stronger Marriage Podcast with Trey and Lee. We're glad you joined us this week.
Hey, everybody.
We are getting ready for Thanksgiving and spend a little time doing Thanksgiving stuff. We've got some kids coming in. Hope y'all are making plans.
Christmas is right around the corner. Crazy as that sounds.
I know it. We're going to talk a little bit about Christmas and things like that in this podcast.
Some crazy people already have their Christmas tree up.
Who would do that? You're looking at me, aren't you?
I'm looking at you.
So Lee leaves town, and while she's gone, I put up the Christmas tree. Didn't decorate it. I just put it up.
Yeah. So it's still not decorated, but it is up. So at least I didn't have to do that much.
That's it.
Right.
I put some lights on our house. So I enjoy Christmas and enjoyed getting to do that.
Yes.
Can I make an announcement about what's coming up?
Yes.
You're trying to figure out where I'm going with this, aren't you?
Yeah.
So we have a book coming out. We're excited about
Yeah.
that. We have not announced that really anywhere. You're the first to kind of hear about it, but we have a book coming out. Should be out by Black Friday, Thanksgiving time, first part of December. It is a little bit different book than what we've done. We had intended to do a family book that was like a big book, and we decided to do another little bit quicker book. We get messages from couples going, we're busy. We don't have a lot of time to sit down and, read. Would like a devotional book. And this is actually more of a kind of a Love Dare book where you get up every morning and you've got a challenge for the day for your marriage. And you read that challenge and read it with your spouse. You've got a Bible verse that goes along with it and a prayer to pray that goes along with that to help you kind of focus on that part of your marriage that day.
Yeah. It's, just some good food for thought, some things you can put into practice. So we think it'll be beneficial especially for busy
couples,
busy people that don't really have time to sit down and do a lot of reading.
You almost could put it in your bathroom in the mornings and look at what the challenge of the day is. It's almost a 5-minute, I'm really thinking about 5 minutes. Now, if you're a note taker and want to write some notes about some of the things we've written, we've got a little space in there for notes, but we're excited about it. We think it'll bless a marriage. It'll be a great thing to put in your spouse's Christmas stocking this year. If you've got some married kids, that'd be a good thing to put in there.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
Yes.
So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about, I have been working on my Amazon wish list already. I put a few things on there. Did you know that? And in the old days, we had a Sears and Roebuck book catalog that used to come,
that big old Sears catalog that came, and we would be so excited to look through all the newest toys that were out.
People over 50 are going, I get that. People under 40 are going, what is that? But I've been putting a few things on the Amazon wish list, and we got to thinking about some gifts, some good gifts to give your family. We're going to spend the next few weeks talking about family. Some gifts to give your family at Christmas time, and that's kind of the direction that we want to go. If you could give your kids and your family some gifts, what would they be? And we're not talking...
Not material.
Yeah. No, we're not talking a podcast,
right.
or I'm sorry, a Xbox or a PS3, or I don't know if I'm using those right
I don't
words.
know what's the popular thing out right now, yeah.
A Nintendo, that I know.
An Atari.
Yeah. Oh, we're so dating ourselves.
I know.
So,
Hush.
So let's talk about 8 gifts. We'll run through some ideas that would bless your family this year. Number 1, what's a great one?
The gift of a good marriage.
That is exactly right. The gift of a good marriage would be a blessing to your family. It'd be a blessing to your kids because you're going to model what that looks like. They're listening, the way you talk to each other and all kinds of stuff. They're in your school of marriage.
Yeah, I mean, they do. They definitely hear how you're talking to each other. They hear how you handle or don't handle conflict. They notice the tone of voice you use with each other. They notice how you talk about each other when the other isn't in the room. Talk about your spouse. Don't bad talk your spouse
in front of your kids.
In front of your children.
Yep. Those are all good things. And one of the best things you can do, we talk about this in our workshops, children's number one fear is something's going to happen to their family and to their parents because they see that from all their peers.
Sure.
And so one of the best things you can do is to be married in front of them. And that means date. That means hold hands, be affectionate, kiss under the mistletoe, let them say gross, get a room. All of those things are good and healthy for your kids to see because it says my mom and dad love each other.
Yes. Just don't put your marriage on the back burner while you're raising your children.
That is true.
Keep your marriage on the front burner. They need to see you modeling a healthy marriage because that's how they're going to learn how to do marriage on, when they're married someday.
That's it. So. And I don't know what kind of family you grew up in as you're listening to this. If it wasn't a great family, this is a great time for you to break that generational curse of, I came from a broken home, and maybe you're going, hey, I'm going to fight for my kids to be able to see what a good marriage looks like. And so that's important that you do those things, whether it's show them by being affectionate to one another, reading a marriage book together, going on dates together, taking trips together. That's just really, really healthy. Going somewhere together and spending time together. But the gift of a healthy marriage is just the best gift you can give your kids.
Yeah. Healthy marriages, for the most part, don't just happen. You've got to be intentional at having a healthy marriage and be proactive. And so, I feel like we're preaching to the choir because you're listening to a marriage podcast as we speak. And so obviously you are being intentional, you're being proactive, and you are wanting to make your marriage healthier. So kudos to you.
Yeah, there you go. So what's number 2? Another gift we can give them.
So another gift is the gift of time.
Yeah, spending time with your kids.
Yeah, your children need your time.
Yeah.
How is another way to spell time? We spell it Time. Or how's another way? I'm totally messed up that.
No, you didn't. You're doing good.
Did I say it right?
Yeah, you spell time. You spell love by spelling time.
You spell love.
Yeah.
Time.
Kids feel love when you make time for them. And can we just say that if you have teenagers, we've been there. And it's really, really hard for them maybe to fit in your world because their interests are different than your interests. So you're going to have to find common interests and fit into their world. You may have to go sit down and go, hey, give me a controller. Can I play? Yeah. Can I play this game with you?
Teach me how to play this.
My kids always, if it included some sort of food or sweet, I could always go, hey, you want to go get a shake tonight at Sonic or something, ice cream somewhere, and they were like all in. Yeah. So that was always a.
That's 30 minutes that you can spend in the car with them by driving there, sitting there waiting for your order. Maybe sitting there for 5 minutes while you eat and then driving home or whatever. That's some good time where you can just,
Our friends Drew and Kelsey, who work a lot in relationships with younger people, teenagers and young couples or young people, always say that one of the best places you can have discussions with your kids is in the car because you're locked in, you can't jump out.
That's exactly what I was
seatbelt on,
thinking.
and you're both looking forward, and you can't go anywhere. And they say some of the best discussion time can take place in cars. And so if you sneak off for a shake or if you sneak off for something, that's a healthy thing to do.
Yeah, I think we have somewhere in our notes about sometimes you have to have hard talks. I don't want to jump ahead, but in the car. At night is even that, they said that kids feel more comfortable having those hard talks when, maybe you don't have to make eye contact. Maybe they don't feel like they're being grilled. So that's a good time to have some serious talks that you want to have with your kids.
And one of the best times to have time to talk to your kids or to the gift of time is around the dinner table. And you're very passionate about that. And we talk about this a lot. We won't go back into this, but every family needs to be spending time around the dinner table where there's no TV, no cell phones. It's not a fill your plate, let's go get pizza and watch TV. It's we're going to sit down at the dinner table
and talk.
Because you reconnect. It is where families reconnect and they talk about their day and they talk about what happened at school. And tradition is built, memories are built around dinner tables. And some of our kids talk about today the dinner table and the times that yeah, we had laughing around a dinner table and stuff.
Yes.
And that was so important.
It's good stuff. So give your kids the gift of time. Moving on, give your kids the gift of discipline. And you're thinking, oh, they don't think that's a gift.
They don't, but it is.
It does not seem like a gift at the time. But yes, it is. They need you to be their parent and not their buddy.
Yeah, there are going to be times when your kids don't like you, and that's okay. Your job is not for your kids to like you. Your job is to sometimes you have to tell them no, and you are going to need to be their parent and not their friend. Your job is to raise a quality human being in this world, and so sometimes the gift of discipline is very, very necessary, and you can spell discipline Rules. We did that a while ago with time.
Love.
Yeah, love.
Love is spelled Rules.
Yeah.
You love them by giving them rules. 87%. Tell us about that.
Yeah, about 87% of college students on a statistic that I'd seen a while back said that their parents probably were not strict enough on them when they were at home in high school, and that's just a lot of kids going, yeah, I probably could have used more rules.
Mm-hmm. They're saying I got away with a whole lot more than I probably should have.
A lot of stuff, and so this is a good point where you have the hard talks.
There we go. Yeah, don't be afraid to have hard talks.
Yeah, so there's times when you have to tell your kids, let's sit down and talk about what you're looking at on your cell phone. Let's sit down and talk about your friends right now. Let's talk about, is there anybody asking you to do something that makes you uncomfortable via your phone? Are you getting messages on Instagram or on whatever it is? Don't be afraid to have those hard talks. I've had them with our kids. I still have them with my kids. They're grown, they're out of the house, and we still have hard talks because sometimes I have to ask them, how are you doing? How are you really doing? And but don't be afraid of discipline, and discipline them the way works best. If you got teenagers, you can't discipline them like they were. You can't set them in a corner for 5 minutes and say, you have to leave your nose right here. You may have to say, bring me your phone or bring me your car keys. We did that to one of our kids once, and I think they're at about 12, I don't remember, it may have been 14.
Not car keys.
Yeah, it wasn't car keys. I said, bring me your phone. And they said, oh, can't you just give me a whipping? Because it was like we really hit the sore spot.
Yeah.
And so, figure out what it is that is going to get them, and that's where you discipline them. I remember getting in trouble at school a couple of times, and the assistant principal calling, going, Miss Morgan, I'm going to have to swat your son. And my mom never said, oh, my poor baby, surely he couldn't have done that. She was always, you swat him, and when he gets home, I'll beat him again. Yeah. And so a lot of parents pull strings to get their kids out of trouble, and that's not a healthy thing.
No.
Sometimes discipline is necessary. If they never reap what they sow, they won't learn from it. And so don't pull strings to get your
If your
kids out
kid
of
gets
trouble.
in trouble, it's not, it's not always the teacher's out to get them, the coach is out to get them, whatever. Sometimes your kid just messes up.
Yep.
And doesn't follow the rules, and they need to learn something from that. Yeah. So
that's exactly
let them pay
right.
the price every once in a while.
We'll tell you, we've had kids that got ISS, in school suspension, one time, and I didn't think that it was too bad of a deal, but they were told, if you break this rule, it's 3 days ISS. Broke the rules. I said, give it to him. He knew what he was getting into when he did it. So yeah, those are just important things. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 18 says, discipline your children while there is still hope. Otherwise, you'll ruin their lives. It's important that you discipline them when they start young. That's a healthy thing.
That is the key.
Yep.
Yes.
How about number 4?
Okay. The gift of spiritual training. Give them the gift of spiritual training.
So what's more important, modeling or teaching, modeling or talking? So if I can tell my kids all the time, we don't lie in this house, but they're going to learn more from my example than they are from me telling them what to do, right?
That's exactly right. If somebody comes to the door and you don't want to deal with the salesman that's at the door and you say, tell them I'm not home, then they've just learned, yes, we do lie in this house because you just did. So the 3 best ways to teach your children are by example, and by example.
That's exactly right. So use opportunities to teach your kids. And if if you're at the store and you've got your kid with you and they give you too much change back, what a great time to go, I think you've given me too much change. Or I think you have undercharged me. Those are just great opportunities to go, hey, we do things right. We are good at encouraging our kids athletically, academically, and we really, really need to be better at when it comes to our kids spiritually, in values and integrity. Those things are a whole lot more important.
Yeah. Praise them when when you see them being kind to someone, when you see them serving someone. If they're showing respect to someone, tell them good job. Tell them I appreciate how you treated your brother just now, or whatever it is. Give them a lot of praise when you see them doing good things.
Yeah. This next one, next gift kind of fits in the same way. It's the gift of integrity. Whether they're 3 or 30, teach them that honesty and integrity is the right thing. And I can remember, we don't have to go into the whole story, but I remember back when Lee had our 2 oldest, and they were like a toddler and infant. And one of them came home with gum that didn't get paid for. He just saw it. It was down his level, and he picked it up and thought, hey, I got gum.
Yeah, trips to the grocery store. I didn't like to make trips to the grocery store with the toddler and the baby in tow. It was hard work. And so I would usually wait till you were home where you could, take over the parenting duties, and I would make my trip to the store. But for whatever reason, I had to go. Got home. Taylor had gum and, pulled out his pocket. I'm like, oh my goodness, where'd you get the gum? So, I thought, here he is. He's 3. I can just tell him we don't take the gum. But I loaded them back up in that car, both of them, took them back to the store, made him, give the gum to the man at the cash out registry and scan it so that we could pay for it. So hopefully in his little brain, he remembered we can't just take things.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was maybe $1 pack of gum, but I just felt like it was an important thing that needed to be done. We got to teach our kids to do the right thing, even when nobody else is going to know.
Yeah. I'll throw out another verse that I like. Proverbs 20 verse 7 says, the godly walk with integrity, and blessed are their children who follow them. That's pretty good stuff right there. That is a pretty powerful verse right there.
Yeah.
So we got 3 more. Let's talk about the gift of a good name. We won't spend a lot of time here, but your name is really important of what you got, and it's important that I give my kids who wear my last name and your last name, Morgan, that we haven't done anything to spoil it. It's called reputation, and we've told our kids forever that they represent us, and when they do stupid stuff, they make us look bad. And at the same time, we're the same way. We have a name, and the last thing in the world I want is for people to go, you're one of Trey's kids. We've heard about that guy.
Right. When the Morgans start coming through the school system, they're like, oh, Morgan kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so don't do anything. The gift of a great name, a respectable name, is such a good thing. And so don't do anything to ruin that name. That's just an important thing.
Yeah. So another one is the gift of listening.
Ooh, this is not a fun one for me because I'm not always very good at listening.
We can get distracted by a lot of things. We let televisions distract us, the phone in our hand. We're distracted by all of the things going on around us, and we need to be, especially with our children, with our spouses,
with our teenagers,
we need to be good listeners. If they're talking, put away the device, pause the TV, give them your attention. It's just really hard to multitask. It really is. You may think you can still keep doing what you're doing, but you're not really. Maybe you are hearing them, but they're not seeing that the focus is on them, and it makes them feel important if they see you pause the TV, put the phone down. Then they know you're giving them full attention.
You really roughing me up here.
God, on a soapbox here.
Yeah, no, but I had one time when one of our boys were small, they were probably about 4, ask me, I was busy. I had stuff going on at the house. I think people were calling, 2 or 3 people needed something, and one of them said, hey, Dad, you got a second? I need to tell you something. And I said, give me just a second, and I'll get with you. And I'd forgot. probably 10 minutes later, he caught me. He said, "Dad, you got time now to listen to me?" I said, "I promise I'm coming. I'll listen." And I, again, some time went past. I was busy doing something and was headed out the door. And he said, "Dad, do you have time to listen? I got something I want to tell you." And I said, "Yeah, buddy, what you got? Tell me quick. I don't have much time." And his response to his father was, "I think I'll wait till another time because I would rather tell you when you have time to listen." And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, here's my own child that I have just been casting off to the side like he was unimportant, because maybe I thought, what does a 4-year-old need to tell me? But it was important to him. And I stopped and I got down on my knee and I said, "I apologize. And I got all the time you want. Let's talk right now at what you want to tell me." I don't even remember what it was, but yeah, he had something he wanted to talk about, and I had not done a good job listening. And that wasn't a good deal.
Right. And it may seem unimportant to you, that they want to tell you about the latest Pokemon game that's out or whatever it is. But to them, that's important in their world at the time. And you need to make sure that you're listening.
Yeah, kids still play Pokemon?
They still play in Pokemon, I think.
All right.
I think they do. I don't know. It just always, literally we raised children for 31 years and Pokemon always seemed to
It was always there.
It always reoccurred.
Yeah,
so,
it was always
and I
there.
think that it is still a thing. So
one of the things that can I throw out here real quick, if you've got teenagers, they don't always talk. They talk on their own terms, meaning you may try to pry information out of them for a week and get nothing, and then some night at 9 o'clock when you're getting ready for bed, they just open up and just start talking.
Yeah.
Can I just say that if your child starts to talk and as a teenager you stop what you're doing and listening, because you don't know when they're going to talk again. And so so listen to what they're saying. There have been times our youngest was not a big talker. He was a lot like his mom, kind of introverted, and when he would talk, there were times where we'd go, "Hey, Cooper was talking and sorry I'm late." And it was like, "Oh, well, he talked, so listen."
Yeah.
Whether it was about his future, about girls, about sports, whatever it was, when he talked, you stopped what you're doing because you weren't sure when he was going to want to talk again.
And
just his personality.
Really, the gift of listening and the gift of time, those two just go hand in hand. Because the more you spend time with your kids, the more they're going to talk. And the more you're going to provide them the opportunity to want to talk. Those trips to go get a shake in the car, the times that you're sitting around the dinner table, you're providing them time where they feel like, I can talk. It's not rushed. My parents have my full attention right now. Or I have my parents' full attention right now. And so provide them those opportunities where they feel like they can open up and talk to you. Provide those opportunities often. So Spend time and give the gift of listening. And the last one,
the gift of praise.
The gift of praise.
Ooh, kids need a lot of praise. I think all day long, when you send kids to school, even grown kids, all day long they're beat down by the world. And if the one place that they ought to be able to come to is home and find that their gas tank gets filled, that their love tank gets filled. It ought to be the place they walk in the door and you make a big deal about them and it's great to see you. You are awesome. Whatever it is, our kids need rebuilt after being beat up by the world all day long.
Yeah. Think of your home as a filling station.
Yes.
Where they're coming home to get their tanks refilled, not further drained.
That's right.
So make sure you're filling their tanks. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of the things. Fill their tanks and give them a lot of praise along the way.
Good point.
Yeah.
My dad's 83. 83-year-old dad. He's still alive. My father is. And every time I talk to him, he tells me how proud he is of me. That never gets old. Whether your kid is 3, 33, or 53, don't stop telling them that you are proud of them.
Absolutely. They need to hear those words. They need to hear you say, I love you. That you're a good kid. I'm proud of you. All of those things. Yeah.
Never gets old. Never gets old. There you go. You got 8 great Christmas gifts or just gifts to give your kids. right there in that list that we talked to and went through. And it only took 22 minutes.
Wow. Are
Yeah.
we 22 minutes?
Yeah, 22 minutes. Okay, 24 minutes.
20
But we talked about books at the start.
We did,
So,
we
yeah,
did,
we're just
we
looking
did.
at our time and everything. So,
We're glad y'all joined us.
we are always glad when you join us. You guys are awesome. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving.
Next
we'll
week
see
is
you in
Thanksgiving. We'll see you the week after.
Weatherford, Oklahoma, coming
Yeah,
up. Weatherford, Oklahoma. Come see us there. Check our website, TreyandLee.com. All our upcoming places where we're going to be. Got a marriage cruise. So much fun stuff going on. Check out the book if you get a chance.
Yes.
Amazon is where
Be
it will
watching.
be.
Be
See ya.
watching.
Y'all have a
Bye-bye.
great day.